It was all a dream, but yours is about to become a reality. Hi, guys, I'm Angel Holmes, and this is a Never Stop Dreaming Biggie podcast. Each week, I'm bringing you conversations that really matter, from solo deep dives to episodes with my husband, Brian, and featuring incredible guests who are building businesses, creating communities, and making an impact. We're keeping it real and sharing what actually works so you can make your biggest dreams happen.
Yeah.
Biggie podcast. Welcome, you guys, to episode 34, which, by the way, is my lucky number if you add those two together, number 7. And I'm so lucky because today I have one of the most special people in this planet that I have loved so much getting to know because we have a special, incredible bond, Alyssa Smith. If you don't know Alyssa Smith, she is the executive director of the Charleston Wine and Food Festival, which was the event I started 20 years ago. And I get asked a lot about if I'm still running it, if I'm still involved in it. And no, this girl is the woman in charge. She has come on the last couple of years and she has really just done such an amazing job of just keep continuing to grow this event in such a special way and honestly bring it back to the heart and soul and the root of the original founders and what we wanted to do with it. And so she reached out to me immediately when she got the position. We have just really connected and I'm so excited because it's the 20th anniversary of the festival this next year, 2026. And so I was like, we have to get you on. You have to share more about what's going on. But first, let's just get to know you, Alyssa, because you are so special. We have a lot in common, and I would love our listeners to know more about you and kind of how you got into this crazy world. Like, what brought you into being the director?
Yes. Well, thank you for having me on the show. I'm super excited. It's been an honor to get to know you more and connect with you and learn all the kind of ways that our paths have like crossed and shared. I moved into the executive director role in January of 2023. So just over 2 years in that seat, but not new to the organization by any means. I was on staff for several years before that as the marketing communications director. And I first actually came in contact with the organization when I was running my own business. I had a PR and communications company. I was dabbling in events. I had all sorts of clients. And in true Charleston fashion, I found somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody at Charleston Wine and Food. And that somebody was Laura Kate Whitney. She was the marketing communications director at the time. She's now running her own business, being like a total boss. But at that point in my career, my business was really successful and I had a lot of clients. And I started kind of like doing a little bit of soul searching, right? And thinking through that sometimes more is just more. And started to think through who I wanted my ethos to be as a business and entrepreneur and what sort of clients I wanted to advocate for and who I wanted to align myself with. And I very much have always been a values-driven person and a values-driven leader. And I wanted my business to reflect those same values. Charleston Wine and Food, I wrote the name on a vision board and I was like, this is a client I really want to work with. I'm a native. I'm from here. Live on James Island. I went to James Island High School, married my high school sweetheart. Like, this place is very much part of the person I am today. And it felt like just the ultimate dream job to be able to help and assist a brand that shared stories about my hometown. So anyway, I took Laura Kate to coffee and I was like, you need me. You need me to come join this team. I was like, you need a local perspective. You need someone else on the team that can kind of help with those connections and make sure that, it always, that the festival and the programming reflected that Charleston community and nature, which is very much rooted in small business, caring for your neighbors, collaboration. So long story short, that's how I ended up at Charleston Wine and Food. And it's definitely a passion project for me, for sure. It hits really close to home.
I love that. And so, like I said, we have so much in common. My background was PR and events. I had my own business when I started the Wine and Food Festival, and I'm from Charleston. And my son goes to James Allen High School. Oh, that's so coincidence. And my other son graduated there there last year. But yeah, and I think that is so important. And Charleston is, even though it's a bigger city now, then obviously we experience growing up as kids, but it has all this new energy and new flavor, but it's still very much about the people, the stories, the history, the culture, the food ways, all the connecting dots. And I love you've done such a great job of incorporating that into the festival and making it what it is. And I just love all the things you have you've brought back. And I know for next year, I know we're not talking about it yet, but next year you have so many exciting things you're going to do to bring that back and to bring homage to the things that we did do at the very beginning of this crazy event. And I've just had so much fun. I was asked by Alyssa and her team to come down to the office, and I brought my little box of goodies, and I was like, look at all this stuff. I mean, I have everything from the original festival, from tickets to notes and the first agenda we had for our meeting, and it's just crazy. To see where it's come today, it's just so exciting. Their office is so cute. I'm so jealous because I didn't have a kitchen in my off. I mean, we were in Trident in a classroom for a little after we moved out of my house. Y'all have come a long way, baby. I'm so excited for that. So congratulations. And LK, oh my gosh, that woman, I need to get her on the podcast.
She needs to be on the podcast. She does.
She's been on my list, but she's been so busy, and she's been just such a big supporter of me. And yes, if you ever meet her, have the chance to meet her, you need to. So anyway, but you have done such an incredible job, and I'm really excited. Tickets go on sale like this week, the week we're talking. So that's insane, insane.
Thursday.
I love Thursday. Yeah. So today, this come out on Wednesday. It'll be tomorrow. You guys, so listen to this, and then you're going to go buy your tickets tomorrow, because what happens with the festival, if you do not know, if you haven't been, is everything sells out. Like not everything, but a lot of stuff sells out. And I know it will sell out because it is a 20th anniversary. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more about what you guys have planned, whatever you can tease, and share with us you're excited about for next year.
I'm super excited to celebrate 20 years. It's an honor to bring to life the festival for 20 years. And I loved seeing you and Mark Collins be recognized recently in 50 Most Influential for Charleston for starting this festival. And that's a huge testament to y'all's leadership and grit in like the early years. Lots of volunteerism, lots of hours. It took a village and a community. That being noted as an influential milestone for Charleston is a big deal. It's a big deal to get to celebrate 20 years. And yeah, the schedule is going to be really special. And for anyone that's been following us on social, I have to talk about when you came in with the box of stuff. So underneath Angel's direction, all of these things were saved, and there's these scrapbooks that we have in the office, and it's one of my favorite things. I'm a scrapbooker. Now I don't really have time to scrapbook, but I like to scrapbook, and I like that notion of like I've got boxes of stuff of like, the first concert that you went to and you save the stub and all these fun things, and it's this like nostalgia and memory, and there's all of these scrapbooks. So the campaign this year in celebration of 20 years takes that notion of like a scrapbook feel. So if y'all have been following some of the social, the stuff that we're going to be launching in like advertisements and video, it all kind of takes this like scrapbook kind of memorabilia past 20 years, which is really fun. And those physical scrapbooks were an inspiration for us and just a cool way to go back in time and see who's participated in the events and what sorts of events were done. So the 20th anniversary schedule will bring back some fun highlights from the early years. Me and my team, I've got to give a shout out to Jenna Capley on our programming team and Anil de Albuquerque. He's on our beverage team. And they really spend a lot of time in the summer months just having loads and loads of conversations with people, bringing people in, asking about events that they loved or chefs that had visited, and like, how can we make 20 years really feel like a community-wide celebration? So sneak peek, Bubbles and Sweets was one of those that,
Yay.
We started chatting, and no joke, Angel, I probably had 35 people that were like, Bubbles and Sweets, you must do Bubbles and Sweets for the 20th anniversary. So we are. I've never attended a Bubbles and Sweets, so excited.
And I will say on that event real quick, so many people got engaged at that event. So that'll be a good thing to promote. And even if they got engaged and got married, they should come back. Like, how fun would that be? So
that would be fun.
You'd be sitting around or standing around or whatever, and we'd see people proposing. I'm like, what is going on? But it was just one of the events that was really special that people came to and did that for. So that was really cool. Yay.
So that's coming back for the 20th. It will be on the Thursday evening, later, 9 o'clock. So after people do their signature dinners, we're going to be at the Grand, that new venue space downtown, which is stunning.
And perfect. And Ashley Gunnan. Oh my gosh, that is
Yes.
circle. Full circle. Ashley was part of our original team. And oh my gosh, that just gives me chills. I'm so excited. So cool.
Yes, she's been working with our events team and, was able to like speak to kind of layout and some of the theme. And so it was cool to have that on the other side of the table too, of somebody being able to help us bring this event back to life in the way that it was first done. So we're excited about that. Opening night this year will feature kind of this past, present, and future is like the overarching theme for the full 20th. So not just celebrating 20 years as Charleston Wine and Food as an organization, but how much our culinary and hospitality community has grown over 20 years. Because that was y'all's intention of starting this in the first place was, by founding this nonprofit and executing a festival, the goal was to bring attention to Charleston's food scene and to help build a culinary brand. And, check, like mission accomplished, because we're very much in that space.
There was only a handful of restaurants back when we started, for sure. So that's awesome. I'm so excited for that.
So opening night will feature some, probably some familiar faces from, that might not be necessarily helming kitchens anymore. And throughout the festival, you'll see a sprinkle of some of those individuals. And Craig Deal, we have Craig Deal coming back for the 20th anniversary. Michelle Weaver will be participating. Chef Frank Lee is coming out of retirement to participate. So just a like resounding, like really enthused community to celebrate 20 years. And I feel like that's the special sauce of this festival, is that it feels like our community. Everybody can see themselves in it. There's a place for, as the community has grown and the restaurants have grown, there's more and more restaurants that participate, which is fantastic. So lots of really fun, exciting things planned. I can't wait for everybody to take a look and start planning for March.
I am so excited. And I think that that's really important. You mentioned Jenna and your team, because it is, first of all, it takes a lot of people. And I know there's a lot of, you guys get engaged, a lot of different moving parts and pieces. But people think this thing just comes together, and it comes together in like a month or two. This is something we were talking about this last year. So this takes you like a couple years in advance to pull off something as large as the 20th anniversary. And y'all do plan all the time. It's not just this one little thing. You do have events year round, and you are a nonprofit, and you do good in the community. You have different programs that really give back. So I think there's just so much more involved. And I always tell people, like, literally, you are building a mini city for that weekend. You are within a city. It's massive, with a number of people and vendors and participants and ticket holders and on and on and on. But you also are doing this year round, and you're so much a part of the community, and you are so important for Charleston. And it has been such a important reason why we have become one of the top destinations for culinary, and all the chefs. Before the festival, there was no James Beard Award winning chefs here. Fig wasn't here. There was just not a lot. So we've come a long way, and it has been exciting. And I will say, I actually have the Charleston magazine by me, because I just picked it up, which was such a crazy honor. Literally saw the list online, and I was like, oh, I love lists like this. And I was going through it, and I saw Mark and I's picture. I'm like, what the heck? I had no idea. They did not tell anybody in the list. And I was like, oh my gosh, that picture is so old. Where they get it? But it was from the Critics Dinner, which was kind of cool, on Fort Sumter. And it was just super, super honoring. But then I was like, oh my gosh, like my dad should be on the list, and like all these other people. So I kind of felt a little bad, because I know there's a lot more people that could be on the list, but I think it just says a lot about the festival and what it's become and what it's done for Charleston. And that was our goal. That was our intention. And my goal with it always was that my kids, because they were always there with me when we set up, they came down, we would stay down in the hotel nearby and have baby pictures of them there. And I was pregnant with both of them during the festival, but I was like, they have to be able to go to it. So we got to keep going. So, my one son's 19, the other one's 16. We got many more. I want this to go on forever, but many more years, Alyssa, of this event, because those in there, we'll get them nice and buzzed up, and we'll have a good old time, and it'll be awesome. So that's my goal personally.
Love it.
I love it. Now, well, before we talk about some other cool stuff for next year, I just want to say, as an event person, it is just crazy. Your life is just insane. I mean, it really is. But that weekend especially, and I just want to really commend you for the job you did 2 years ago and then what you did this year. So if you're not familiar, 2 years ago, one of the worst things that you ever want in an event happened. There was a massive storm system that came into Charleston, similar to what just happened to Riverfront Revival down where Darius had his festival. But for him, he didn't have what you had. They had massive flooding where she created this incredible village on the water in North Charleston, Riverfront Park. It was beautiful. We went the first day, gorgeous. And then this crazy high tide, all this stuff came together and they had to shut down the village. The village is a key. It's key financially. It's key for the
Yeah.
event, the majority of ticket holders. And I was literally in my house, like crying. I was like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna do? But Alyssa was so amazing. She's just very calm. That's what I love about her. I would not have handled it the same way. She was very calm. She was very, they pivoted very well. And then they came up with a great new place for the village. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. Like what
Yeah.
went through your mind with that and how you did shift and then what you learned from it. Because it really is I think a valuable lesson. You handled it very well.
Yeah, I mean it was literally the perfect storm, that situation, and it created a lot of things for us to reconsider and to think about. And when you're building a business, you want to make sure that you're thinking through the sustainability of that business. And a nonprofit, especially, like margins and events are extremely thin. And then you add and you couple in a nonprofit, and that could have been a critical devastation for the organization had we not been able to kind of innovate and improvise. So when we were thinking through, how can we inoculate ourselves from some risk? How can we make this more financially sustainable? That notion that you mentioned earlier in our chat of building a village from nothing, like it literally is a town. You have to run water to it and power to it. And then you add on the culinary components, and that just like takes your event like up 10 notches. And so we started thinking through, I was like, okay, we need something that's got some built-in infrastructure. So we're not building everything from scratch. So started looking through facilities that already had existing, restrooms, running water, electricity, some like impervious ground that you could set up on. And I actually first started looking at the River Dog Stadium. Love the River Dogs. They're a really good partner of Charleston Wine and Food. We've done some cool things with them over the years. It was during baseball season, which the Citadel uses that facility for baseball. And they had just upfitted the Johnson Haygood Stadium field to a turf field so they could do some more events. And I remember looking at it and like kind of running through the backbone of it, right? Like the CAD drawings and all the logistics. And I'm like, this makes so much sense. And I took our event designer through with us and I was like, can you gussy this place up? Like, can you make this look like our brand? And she's like, oh yeah, for sure. And for anybody that stepped foot on it last year, we transformed it. You were not in Johnson Haygood Stadium. You were in the Culinary Village, which is a made up town in our dreams that we really wish existed all year, not just 3 days of the year. And we transported you. And I think that's the power of live experiences and why people want to be in a live experience is because for a moment in time, you can stop all the other things, the to-do lists and the craziness of the news, and you can connect with community in a way that you cannot in any other event fashion, and you can experience something that somebody wants you to experience. And I feel like live experiences, you feel so intimately connected to other people when you're around thousands of people, which is like a weird phenomenon, but
It's real.
anyways, it was better than I had even imagined, in full honesty. Like when I had stepped out there and saw it in full real life and people interacting with it, it was a proud moment. I felt really proud.
You should.
And I feel like it communicated what we wanted it to communicate.
It was the best culinary village ever with Charleston Wine and Food, ever. Period. The end. It really was. I mean, the problem, Charleston does have a limited amount of spaces, especially for
It
large
does.
events, unfortunately. And there's so many rules and regulations. And, we were in Marion Square for so long, and that had a lot of challenges. And then moving out to Riverfront Park, which was great. but it also had a lot of series of challenges. Clearly, obviously, you didn't want to take that risk on, but how smart to bring it back downtown, to utilize this, and the Citadel has a lot of amazing long-term history as well. So you did not feel like you were in a stadium, but you utilized the stadium, right? You had
Yeah,
seating, you had, like you said, bathroom structure, you had those big screens. I mean, it was amazing. And I've been to other events there and I have not felt that way. So I was like, wow, this is so cool. I was so excited. And I just feel like with your and everything about you. I just love you just think about things like in a structured way, but in a very inviting way. And so, I don't know, you just really pay attention to all the details. And you have backup plans and you pivot so smoothly. You had to move last year's opening night party to the convention center, and that ended up being a great thing. So I think it's just about having options and pivoting. And really, at the end of the day, we're lucky too, because this is a fun event, right? People are coming there,
it
they're
is.
eating, they're entertained. So you often forgive some things that obviously can happen with an events because that's going to happen regardless of how much you plan or how much you do. But really and truly, you've just continued to make it so masterful in those ways. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
The highlighting the partners and I don't know if it's the awards you do, the things like that. And really glad
Yes.
you brought some of that back. Talk about that a little bit about the nonprofit side, because I think a lot of people don't realize all of the good things you do.
Thanks. Yeah. So that honestly, that's the stuff that excites me the most. I've been doing events for a really long time. This is a fantastic event that's been built. It's got an amazing brand behind it. And as I noted, like the mission was to help build a culinary brand for Charleston and attract people. And so we're kind of in this 20-year spot now where that's really been accomplished, right? And we don't want to take our foot off the gas of producing this fantastic 5-day festival. We just surpassed over $200 million in economic impact in its history, and $10 million it has done for the city
Mhm.
in the 20-year history. So it is a huge component, but we really spent some time, and this has been the last 2 years of like with the board and with the community of like, what does the future for Charleston Wine Food look like? What is the next step? And bringing more in that supports our food and beverage community is really where everybody kind of landed of like, we have this amazing platform. Let's use this platform to do even more good other 360 days that it's not in existence. So we actually founded a supporting nonprofit of Charleston Wine and Food Festival. It's called the CHS Culinary and Hospitality Foundation.
Love
And
it.
its existence is to help Charleston Wine and Food Festival carry out any of its education and charitable efforts. So scholarships have always been a core tenet. That was something that y'all started very early on in the early years of the organization, and we've continued that. So we have a scholarship at the College of Charleston, a 4-year and a senior. Culinary Institute of Charleston, we still support in scholarships. We're working to start one at the Citadel, that we have one at that institution as well, since we have connectivity with them. And then we've branched into a high school program, which is super exciting. So we have an education outreach administrator on the team now. Her sole job is internships, mentorship opportunities, and working with youth to showcase this industry as a viable option for them. So we're in 10 high schools, CCSD and Dorchester too. She services over 1,200 students. So she just finished kind of our first like entry back into the classroom. She did 30 visits over the past month, going and talking to students, telling them about this organization, and then telling them about the opportunities there are to connect in culinary and hospitality. We bring in guest chefs to come and teach at the high school level. So how cool is that? That like you could be having your course that day taught by a James Beard Award winning chef.
Amazing.
So we bring those into classrooms, and then the festival itself is an externship for these high school students. And that was something that, kind of returning to some roots too of y'all used to have the Culinary Institute students. And at one point too, the Art Institute, when it was here, the students participating alongside the chefs. And so that is back. You'll notice when you're out at events, you'll see students with their chef coats, and the chefs love it. The students love it. And it's an opportunity for us to expose them by way of the festival, all of the career paths that you could have in this industry. Because I do feel like the festival is the perfect microcosm for that. You've got events, marketing, culinary, rentals, decor, design, government relations. There's all of these fields that have to come together to pull this off, not just, working in a restaurant or working in a hotel. Lots of opportunities for students to get exposed and get excited. And then if they complete the program, they're awarded a scholarship to continue on their education at the Culinary Institute. So really cool program, but just using the brand that has been built to further impact in the community that we exist to celebrate. And that's honestly what excites me and gets me jazzed, is continuing obviously to put on a fantastic 5-day festival that showcases the stories of Charleston, but really looking at ways that we can give back to the community.
And I will just say this, most events don't do this, guys. Like if you look at it, if you look around, they just come in and they produce great events, but then they're gone. And I'm not saying they don't plan during the year, but they don't do as much in the community. And I just think that makes this event so much different. And that was a goal we always had, but Alyssa and her team have really expanded that, made it very much more intentional and thoughtful. And I'm just so glad to see that back. So congrats, and support the nonprofit. So you can support, there's so many ways you can support. So I just want to say this too, before we're going to wrap up in a few minutes, because I know our time is valuable. But first of all, you can go buy tickets tomorrow. You want to buy tickets, and Alyssa can share all the information and any tips maybe on that. And you can volunteer. They need hundreds of volunteers throughout the weekend. So that's always a big thing. You can sponsor. I'm sure they are still would love to welcome any sponsors who are interested. If your brand aligns, if you want to get your brand in front of a lot of people, and again, they do such a good job with this, connecting you with the right people, the right places, and making sure it's really aligned. And that's a good opportunity, all of it. So you can support, I'm sure, their nonprofit part of it. But I'm so excited because Alyssa, not only she came to me about the 20th anniversary and ideas, but she was like, hey, listen, we know you have this little thing going on called the Holmestead Bar and Retreat in the Caribbean, and we'd love to showcase it. So I'm so excited because, it won't be a ticketed event this year, maybe next year, but we are going to do a fun little teaser. We'll hopefully be announcing the island and kind of what we're planning during the festival. So I'm so excited because we're going to keep it kind of hush hush until that time, with our advisors, Highwire Distilling Company, and Scott, and other people. So I just really appreciate that, and it's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. And my friend Terry Henning, who we did a lot of events, I'm helping her with her dinner. I'm so excited she's bringing a dinner back to her new incredible house. That was always a big deal. So yeah, so if there's anything you want to share, but also, is there any, this is the Biggie podcast, is there any Biggie thing that you are wishing for, hoping for, either this year or in the future, that that's on your heart right now that you can share?
I want to see this thing continue to succeed and give back to the community. So that's the intent and purpose that I show up every day to work, and my team, and we're really honored and excited to celebrate 20 years. The schedule's live now, so you can browse through all of the events and see all the little special nods and touches, and there'll be a ton of other off menu experiences like the one we're doing with you, and some other things as we move towards the 20th. So you could go to charlestonwinefood.com to look at that. There is a cool favoriting feature on the site this year. So you can add hearts and favorites. So that way, when you go to check out tomorrow, tickets launch at 11 a.m. You'll want to check out, if you're trying to get anything that's like a seated experience, you'll want to get on at 11 a.m. because they do go quickly. And sometimes the capacities can be really small. There might only be 12 tickets available because that's literally the amount of seats in the restaurant. So that stuff tends to go really quickly. But I would say don't miss opening night. The finale this year is going to be a look to the future. So it's all programmed with, next wave talent and people who we think deserve spotlight and recognition of kind of pushing Charleston forward in new ways. So that one I wouldn't miss either. And anytime you buy a ticket, you're supporting our work. Anytime you make a donation on the website, you're supporting that work and giving back to the community. And we very much appreciate it. We would not be here without our ticket holders and sponsors and talent and everybody. It truly takes a village to pull this thing off. So
well, let's go out. Let's get on the website right now, get our plan in place for tomorrow to buy our tickets, because they do go fast. And definitely be sure to follow them on social media. Come find us in March. Come find me. I'll be doing all kinds of fun stuff. Love to say hi to you. Celebrating 20. I should have a 20th banner or something. I don't know.
You should. A birthday crown.
Well, you know me, I'll do something silly. But Alyssa, thank you so much. And I just want to say really quick before you leave, like, look at this. Look at her and I, like, to come from, we're from Charleston, but to believe in this city so much, to love this city so much, that continue to give back, to go for it. To reach out to somebody like LK Whitney, who's such an amazing force, to say, I want to be part of it, put it on our vision board to make it happen. If that's not Biggie, nothing else is. So thank you so much. And when we see you again, guys.
Bye.